Hey guys, welcome to another product showcase video. Today's product comes to us from InWin. This is their new Track Mid-Tower ATX case. Okay, first off, we're just going to have a look at the box itself. Once again, you can see the beautiful artwork that they put on their boxes. I really have to compliment InWin. I think they have some of the handsomest looking case boxes that I've ever seen. As far as a retail dealership goes, something like that where you want to display your cases, they do an awesome job on the artwork. Let's get to some of the features here. See if I can pick that up for you or not. This holds up to 320mm premium VGA cards times 3. So it'll hold 3 video cards, 320mm. This provides a 5 1/4, 3 1/2, and 2 1/2 inch drive bays. So you've got a spot for your solid state drive, mini drive, whatever you might be running. Tool-free installation for ODD and PCI slots. Supports up to 120mm fans times 5, excellent thermal solution. 3 1/2 inch SATA hard drive hot swap module times 1 included. And this does give you superior overclock performance with their airflow. The other side of the case is going to give us a better look of the, or I should say the other side of the box is going to give us a better look at the case itself. You can see the inside of the case, some of the artwork, some of the different features, your front connectors, your fans, your hard drive mounts, that sort of thing. And we have a little bit more detailed specifications here. Let's see if I can pick this up for you. The materials is SECC steel. External is 5 1/4. External 5 1/4 times 3. Includes a 3 1/2 and 2 1/2 inch device converter cage. Internal is 3 1/2 times 3 or 2 1/2 times 2. This is an ATX and a micro ATX form factor. ATX 12 volt. PCIe, PCI, AGP expansion slots times 7. Your front ports are 1 USB 3.0, 2 USB 2.0s. HD and AC 97 audio. Thermal solutions is front 12 centimeter fan times 1, side 22 centimeter LED fan with LED switch, maximum support 12 centimeter fan times 2, top is a 12 centimeter fan times 1, and the rear is a 12 centimeter fan times 1. Dimensions 456 millimeter by 200 millimeter by 500 millimeter, or that would be 18 inches by 7.9 inches by 19.7 inches. Down at the bottom here we have some of the different features for the USB, HD audio, tool-free, thumb screw, LED, hard drive fan, support for the 3 video cards, that sort of thing. Let's open up the box and see what all it comes with. Okay, I just wanted to get a quick shot of the packing here before we pull it out of the box, just to show you the nice job that they do with the packing. It's very snugly fit in there with hard styrofoam on both ends. Case is completely enclosed in a plastic bag to keep dust and other things off of the case itself. So we'll slide her out of the box. Okay, inside the box itself we get the Track user manual. It's a beautiful full-size manual for the case, about the size of a magazine would be. That's really something I haven't seen before on cases. They really go the extra mile with their instructions. And my first impression on this case was, after seeing several pictures of it and stuff, to see it in person, it's actually very, very nice. The pictures don't do it any justice. The black finish on it is amazing. It almost looks like it's a powder coated finish. I doubt it is. I assume it's a sprayed on finish, but it is a beautiful black. On the front here you have like a aluminum or metal type grills on it with also the gray plastic on the front. All of the front bays, there's 2 here and 3 up here. These are all ventilated, and I believe they're all screened also. On the front here we have our connections. Here's your USB 3, our 2 USB 2s, your headphone jack, microphone jack. This would be your power switch and light, and I believe the little guy right next to it here is your reset button. Let me spin this around the side here. We'll get a better look at the side of the case. Here's that big fan that they include with it. As you see, this can also be removed, and you could put a couple additional fans in here. There's the switch here for the LEDs for the fan, whether you want them on or off. Let's spin around the back side. Okay, on the back side we see the 7 bays that we use for expansion cards. It has a rear mounted, or not a rear, I'm sorry, a bottom mounted power supply in it, a spot for your I/O shield, an included 120 millimeter fan, and a single pass-through that could be used for your USB 3.0 to run it around to the back of your motherboard if you're running a modern board that has the rear connector on it. Okay, on the other side of the case we see the insignia for it, the AI-500. There is a small amount of ventilation down here on the bottom for it to allow some airflow through to the back of the motherboard. And on the top we have a mount here for what appears to be a 120 millimeter fan for an exhaust fan, as well as there's an in-win insignia here also. I'm not sure if that lights up. We will check into that. Okay, we got the side cover off of it now, and before I get too far ahead of myself, I just want to back up a little here and tell you, once I did open up the case, there is a 120 millimeter fan that does mount on the top. They don't include it mounted on there during shipping, but they do include it inside the case. So you simply pop this top cover off and install your fan into it. Okay, now for the hardware kit that comes with it. They give you a very nice assortment of screws. I like the fact that everything's black. The only thing that is silver in here is your standoffs for your motherboard, which of course will be behind the board, so you won't be able to see them. But I hate when you get a case that's all black like this, and then they give you silver screws that are going to stand out like a sore thumb. They give you a couple of nice long cable ties for cable management. They give you a PCI slot cover to replace one. They give you a 4-pin Molex to a 3-pin fan connector, wire loop for wire management, your PC speaker to plug into your motherboard, as well as an anti-lock clip that you can add onto the case if you want to be able to lock it for LAN parties, that sort of thing. Let me set this stuff aside and we'll have a better look at the inside of the case. I just also wanted to try to get a shot here of the 120 millimeter intake fan that are right in front of the drives. That's going to help keep your drives cool, as well as this tray up here is to mount your 2.5-inch drive, whether you have a laptop type hard drive or you're putting a solid state drive in. You could mount it right there also. Okay, another feature on this case is a removable washable fan for your power supply. It does have a bottom hole for venting your power supply, and one of the excellent features of this is, with most of them, they don't make them removable. You have to pull your power supply out to clean the fan, but this one you actually can just pop up and slide right out of there. Now we can take the fan and clean it, blow it out, whatever you wish to do with it, without having to remove the power supply itself to do it. I think that's an excellent feature. It's nice to see somebody had actually thought of that. A nice big opening in the back for adding your CPU cooler to your motherboard without having to remove the motherboard from the case itself. Typical in-win tool is set up here for your drives themselves, or not drives, I'm sorry, for your cards. Okay, now that we got it around to the back side, I just want to give you a closer look at the hot swappable drive bay here. As you can see, here's the power connector for it, as well as your eSATA connector to plug into your motherboard itself. You just run a standard SATA type power from your power supply to run it, and that's going to make this drive bay hot swappable, so you can pull in drives, switch drives out without disconnecting any cables. That's a very handy feature. I think that's a really good idea. Now on to some of the unique features here. For one thing is the contour here of the case. As you can see, this is all kind of leaning inward here. It's all beveled in to give it a nice recess along the side here to run all your cables for your optical drives, your hard drives, what have you, as well as these slots here giving you access to the motherboard tray itself to be able to run all of your cables to the motherboard without having to try to put everything around the back side here. They also offer a small slot here that could be used for possibly HD audio or maybe some other cable you may need to run around the back, and also a slot along the bottom. There is a slight bit of space, not a whole lot, between the tray here and the side rail. You could run some thin wires through there, but for the most part I think everyone's going to want to run their stuff right through this bevel here. It's one of the first times I've seen a case that actually had really set aside the space for cable management, and really did it in a nice way that you could have the holes here and make a short run right into your motherboard without having a flat panel and trying to do it that way. So let's pull the front cover off and have a look. Okay, with the front bezel removed, this is a typical pop-off front bezel, as we see with most cases. No tools are required. We can see our 5 1/4 inch optical drives, as well as our front intake fan. Nice feature here is the front fan is actually a toolless removal. As you can see, you could easily pop it out and either replace the fan if you wanted something different, or do it to clean your fan. That's really a nice feature, considering that most of them are pretty tough to mount in there. And this can be done, as you can see, basically with one hand. Okay, onto the front cover. We see all the ventilation for the different bays themselves. Here's a closer look at one of the 5 1/4 inch bay covers, so you can get a look at the screen that they include on them. They are not a cloth screen, they're like a plastic screen, so you could wash them to get the dust off them, but they're not easily removable. They don't pop off. You will have to bend the tabs back here to take this off, or just simply clean it the way it is and give it a good drying before you put it back on. But overall, this is a very nice case. I'm very impressed with a lot of the features of it. Very sturdy, solid metal construction. Like I said, a lot of features for a mid-tower case, things that you'd expect to see in a full tower. Love the styling of it with the new front. I like the beveled back panel there for cable management. The only real tough choice would be, when looking at a mid-tower case, would be to either go with this model or possibly the InWin Dragon Slayer. Both of them are mid-tower cases. Both of them have a ton of features. So I guess what it really narrows down to is the styling and what kind of features that you're particularly looking for. But this is a very nice case in the mid-range size. I would highly recommend it for anybody doing anything from a small gaming build to even a most extreme gaming build, with giving you the room to add up to 3 full-size video cards in it. So a very good one to look at if you're in the market for a mid-tower case. We want to thank InWin for providing this case for our showcase, and I want to thank you for watching.